rolled him through his flip line, breaking his pelvis and all his legs. I think it's Phylinus robusta. Get them to want to learn. Good morning. Quentin's just getting things sorted. The boys are up the other end doing some work, and we have this to remove. This is a cephalocarpa and silverleaf stringy bark. There's some bracing up there. So that's not good because it's constricting the branches. It's very tight around the branches. We'll have a look when we get up there. But it means it's a very static system, and it's not very good. It doesn't help the tree build reaction, growth or anything. And we can see around the base here, it's got some of the base here is being pressured by the concrete, and it's cracking the concrete as well. That's no good. The union here is not great for such a heavy leaning tree at one side, with all the weight supported on this small bracing. And then we've got some fungus in the middle here. I haven't seen the tree report, but I think it's Phylinus robusta. We'll see. I'll have a look at the tree report and update you. I'll probably put it up on the screen right here. So we're going to go up. Because of the cable bracing, we can't just drop it from the ground, which we probably could. Knock this side out and then drop all of it out that side, then drop this main leader, but we've got to go up there anyway and take the cable bracing out, or the bracing out. So we'll go for a quick climb, and while we're up there, we may as well just knock it all out. So yeah, I'll see you up there. I'm gonna start dropping some stuff now, man. Yeah, yes, it is on. All right. I'm gonna take my helmet off. Good morning. Geez, I feel good lately. Oh, wait. Hey. So my job is training people how to do this kind of thing. So coming up and removing things, how to prune trees, how to maintain a chainsaw, all of that stuff. And I love it. I love figuring out how to get information into people. It's honest, genuinely a passion of mine. And I didn't realize it until I started doing it, but I really do like it. I like seeing people go, oh, like it's something they learned, especially the people who've been doing it for a long time. I've always said that even if you know how to prune, how to do anything, it's always really valuable to get multiple people's point of view and opinions so you can form your own way of doing things. And there's a lot of people who have been doing it for a long time, and I'll often surprise and they'll go, you know what, I've been doing this for 30 years and I didn't know that. So little things like that are so rewarding for me. And that's not just me, that's all trainers experience that. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but that's just when you educate people, there's always going to be a portion of information that they don't know or not aware of. So it's fun to do that, it's enjoyable. It's really enjoyable to get the students who have no idea, and then they go, you know what? I like this industry, I love it. And yeah, I like to educate people. But mainly I like to change people's perceptions. I like to make the student think differently, because there's only so much you can teach someone in a short amount of time. So there's this thing called a DEDICT model. D-E-D-I-C-T. Demonstrate, explain, demonstrate, get them to imitate, coach them, and then train. So the training really happens on the job. Doing any education, being a doctor, being a pharmacist, being a labourer, whatever it is, you go to a course, you're essentially learning the language of the industry. So then you can go out into the world and somewhat be involved in those conversations and progress your learning from there. So it's like the foundation doing training. You learn the language of it, then you can go and learn on the job. So trying to teach people the way to do things, the only way to do it, and all of the information at once is no good. I found the best way to train people is to get them to want to learn, get them interested in the content, in the industry, and encourage the ones that don't want to be in the industry and don't want to learn to go and do something else. Because trees ultimately are pretty important. I'm not much of a hippie, but I value trees, and I value a lot of things that I'm not aware of and I don't know. So I know there's a lot to do with trees that I don't know. So I'll try and look after them. There's huge cultural value in these, huge heritage value, huge money value, house properties and whatnot, ecosystems, environment, all that stuff, all the stuff that I don't really know about. I know there's something there. So I value these trees pretty highly. So through these videos, hopefully some people are getting some education in trees, but mainly I just hope people are kind of enjoying it as much as I am. And I was just thought I might video myself up here because I'm going to show you this tree, but really I'm loving it. This is a beautiful day. I don't know if you can see around me. It's a beautiful day. The sun's coming up. Left the house early in the dark, family's still asleep, and now I'm up this tree. The boys are over there doing the chipping, and I'm just really enjoying this little climb up here. Gaffed out a few times, you know, breathing a bit heavily, but I'm loving it. So I'm probably going to do some more contract work and get back into trees over education. Yeah, so some of the things I'll show on this channel and we'll talk about and I'll do may not be what I'll tell people in training organisations, but it's the way I do things, and I hopefully explain why I will take certain calculated risks. I believe I've covered everything I do that is not as per Australian standards, and I explain why I do them. So there's a few different things like that, like cutting corners is a bad term, calculating risk is probably better, but say I'll cut one-handed. So I've done a whole video on that, and I might do a cut without being 2 points of attachment for a particular reason. Hopefully I've explained that in the past. Yeah, so calculating risk comes with time, and tree workers are generally pretty good at it, I think. So anyway, we're up this tree. I might start a new one. All right, so we're up this tree, and we've got this cephalocarpa, what is it, silverleaf messmate, silverleaf stringy bark, and we've got two sides of the tree. We've got this side, which is a big side, and we've got this little side which I'm in, and I've got my high point up here on SRT just because I didn't bring a cambium saver and there'll be too much friction for me to get around, so I'm just going to go SRT. All of it's spurring anyway, so I don't have all my gear on for SRT, but I'll be right. What I've got below my feet here, I don't know if you can see down here, there is some bracing, and it's quite tight, and it moves both of these limbs quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the weight out of the head of this first, so there's not a heavy leader on this side. Then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to take all of the weight out of that. Probably take these lower branches off. So then it's just going to be two stems with this rope essentially between the two. So there'll be less weight, and if it does fail then it's not going to hit the fence. So once I've taken all the weight out, then I'm going to come and I'm going to cut this bracing off, and then we can just fall the stems with low risk. What? You got me worried there. I thought you were looking at what I was cutting. Me? Huh. Alright, so we're up here. We've done a bit, you can probably see we've already taken that top out and this one here. So it's cruising along pretty well. This cephalocarpa, I'm pretty sure, is very snappy. It's like mahogany, botryoides. Very snappy wood. So that's pretty good in the way that it's kind of less likely to slab up and split down. But I want to show you some cuts that you can do on lateral branches. So this is common knowledge to most tree workers. So if you're an arborist, just tune out now. This is just really for the beginners. But this is called what we call a box cut. I already did one down there, which I've either probably already shown in the footage or I'll show it now, whatever. But I'm going to do one here because we've got a lateral branch and we've got another couple out there. So I should be able to do a couple of box cuts. Essentially, and I can show you over here, what it is say I've got this here, this is my cut. I want to do an undercut first, side cut, top cut. So essentially, there's a square box left in the middle. And what that does is it means that the branch snaps off a lot cleaner, sometimes pops off and falls down a bit quicker, like butt first. And it reduces the risk of the branch slabbing up and splitting down, and it just feels like a bit of a safer cut to do sometimes, mainly the large lateral branches. So it's very similar to how you'd cut a log, a big round log laying on the ground. You'd kind of cut the far side, cut the top, and then bore in, cut the bottom, and then the little bit in the middle will just snap off. So I'll do a couple of these cuts here and I'll show you what it is, but really this tree is very snappy anyway, so it's gonna go off with an undercut and a bottom cut. The problem is the kerf, and the sound's not very good when I point you away from my face, but I'll show you this. The kerf underneath, that will close up very easily when you're doing a top cut. And when it closes up, it creates a lot of tension and compression. And it really wants to pull out at the top and crush in at the bottom. And what it does is it cut through too slowly and it splits down here. This happened to a bloke in a golf course up at a local golf course. He was, well, the story goes, he went and got his climbing ticket, did a week of climbing, and then he was a gardener on the golf course, and he went up with a big chainsaw that was blunt, and he did this on a bigger tree, a much bigger eucalypt. And he did whatever cuts underneath, but his top cut, apparently the saw was blunt and it went through too slowly. The large lateral branch dropped down, closed up the kerf, and split down the trunk. And now his flip line was around the tree and it rolled him through his flip line, breaking his pelvis and all his legs and multiple other things in his body. So he had to stay up the tree until they could get a fire truck with a ladder up. I don't know, it was about 50 minutes because no one was there to rescue him, or the grandy couldn't rescue him. So one, you should never climb without someone who can't rescue, without someone who can rescue you, sorry. Because that might happen if you're stuck up the tree. And another thing is keep your saws sharp, do your cuts well, and learn where to do your cuts. So I'm gonna do a couple of box cuts and we'll see how that goes. So, all right. So, just want to let you know that I'm using a very small saw, very weak saw, and I'm going to try and do this bigger one. I should probably go out and do these smaller ones with a bigger saw, but I just want to show you the effectiveness of the box cut, because my little Echo is not very powerful at all. It's very, very weak little saw, but it's light, that's why I love it. So I'm going to do it on this. I'm going to cut underneath first, because that's the most risky one where I'm going to get jammed. Then I'm going to cut the far side, then I'm going to cut this side, then I'm going to do the top cut. And it should, rather than go over and stop, or go over a slab up or hinge down or anything like that. It should just go pop and pop down. So let's see what happens. we've taken that down. It was about, I don't know, half an hour with a bit of footage recording in there, so half an hour to 45 depending. Pretty happy with that. I expected it to take that long just to get the foliage down, that is. And now we're just going to drop one stem, the big one, out on the grass here. That should be okay. I've taken most of the bits off that'll dig into the grass, and we'll drop that out there. We'll put one log down here in the gutter, and then the other one, the big tall one, which is very wobbly, we've got a rope tied to it. We're going to pull it this way, and we're just going to lay some logs out on the ground here, which that's what Thomas is doing now. And then yeah, so I'll start doing some scarf cuts and we'll see how much rot is inside this tree. Not really rotten at all down here. Look at that. You'd think this rock would be all the way down. It'd be interesting to see how much it's compartmentalised. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, it's all at the back. Yeah, I was wrong. The front's good. So the most crucial part at the back in the tension wood is all the rotten wood. Oh. So you can see here the decay. Funguses, I'll be honest, are not my strong point. This is just the fruiting body of a fungus. I believe it's Phylinus robusta, or it could be Formidipora. Either way, it's what we commonly call a horse's hoof. It's the fruiting body that appears on the outside of the tree. So this is an indication that the tree is under some kind of stress, because this eats the live wood. This will eat through the live wood of the tree. So this is what forms on the outside, and it shows you what's on the inside. It's not always there on the outside, but it means that it's eaten away at some live wood. And you can see in here, these growth rings. These are the growth rings around here. That's actually a wall that compartmentalizes this decay from spreading throughout the tree. So inside this tree, there's something called C.O.D.I.T. Well, the term is C.O.D.I.T, compartmentalization of decay in trees. So when you get a fungus or a pathogen connect to the tree, say here, from someone putting a spur into a tree, this is why we don't spur live trees or trees we're going to prune. This is where you hit a tree with an axe or a machine and the bark comes off or a branch breaks out. It creates an opening for pathogens and funguses to get in. When they get in, the tree can protect itself from the spread of that decay. And it's got what's called 4 walls. There was a doctor named Dr. Alex Shiger that basically planted a whole bunch of trees and did a whole bunch of different things to trees and watched how they reacted. And he coined the term C.O.D.I.T, compartmentalization of decay in trees. And from that, he developed 4 walls of protection. This tree has 4 walls of protection, and you can think of it like a submarine. Inside a submarine, there's different rooms, and each room has a hatch on it that can close. So if there's a leak in one part of the submarine, or a pathogen that gets in, the tree can close up the hatches around that cabin, that room, and protect it from spreading throughout the rest of the submarine, much like a tree does. And some trees are better at it, some are worse at it. Some trees are better in certain climates and conditions, and some trees are, the same tree that's really good in a dry condition will be really poor at compartmentalizing in a really wet situation. For example, the eucalyptus viminalis. And there's some trees that are just generally terrible at it, like the eucalyptus ovata, which is like the worst tree in the world. And it just goes rotten straight away. So great for insects, great for ecology, great for all that stuff and all the biodiversity and all that, but from the tree's perspective, not great. So the 4 walls. Essentially in a tree, you've got veins that go up and down the tree, and that's around the outside in the cambium layer, just underneath the bark. So if you were to poison a tree, that's where you'd poison a tree, because all the inside, to the layman, is essentially dead wood. Doesn't really do much apart from structure. Yes, it stores starches and sugars, but anyway, we're getting too far into it. But really, the fastest moving stuff is around the outside, underneath the bark, called the cambium, or the phloem and the xylem. And that's what transports nutrients and water up the tree and starches and sugars down the tree. And it also transports any fungus or pathogen that gets in. So it's the weakest wall. As soon as a fungus gets in, it can spread up and down really quick. So that's wall 1, the weakest wall. Wall 2 is these growth rings. Every year, there's most trees, most places in the world will put on 1 layer each year. These are dicot trees, okay, dicots. So they'll increase in girth. And each layer is essentially 1 year of growth. And that layer is a growth ring. That helps protect the tree from the fungus spreading in and out. That's wall 2. It's a little bit better than wall 1, but still not great. Wall 3, its next protection is these ray cells. You can't really see them on this tree, but essentially from the middle out, there's these ray cells, and you'll see them split in dry trees. Under a microscope, you'll see them. Some trees are really prominent, some trees are not. I can't see any in this tree. But there are, invisible to the eye on this tree, ray cells. And that's wall 3. Again, a little bit stronger to help prevent the around and around spread. And the last line of defense, wall 4, is essentially the new growth on the outside. That's the strongest wall of defense. So wall 1, 2, 3, and 4 make up C.O.D.I.T compartmentalization of decay in trees. And this silverleaf stringy bark, they're not great at compartmentalizing. Once they get a bit of decay in them, it tends to travel through them. Again, that's only in the areas that I've worked in them. Some other areas and other climates, they might react differently, but in my opinion, they react pretty poorly. Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
All right, so now I've got the game of a target. So I've got to hit this target. What I might do, there's a few gaps there. I might close up those gaps. All right, so we've got a fault here. That's going to be an issue. It could fail on us. There could be fungus in the middle, which could be a problem. Got that there. I'm probably going to slice it down there, and I want to drop it straight out there. We'll see how the aim goes. Little gecko. Put him somewhere. They're pretty nice, these little things. There we go. There you go.
That's wow. Hey, buddy.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, it's pretty sticky. Get in the tree. Hey, get off my arm. Oh, Jesus. Go in there. Get on the tree. Get off me. Get on the tree. So, got an interview to do.
Yeah.
Quentin. This is Quentin.
How you guys doing?
Good. So, Quentin's been through a few rites of passage coming into the tree industry. You're enjoying it? You've got some blood on your finger?
Ah, more scars. Jeez.
Yeah. You've quite a couple of stitches.
Yeah.
Come on. What happened?
I wrestled a chainsaw.
I don't think so. What was it?
Hedge trimmer.
Hedge trimmer. Classic hedge trimmer. So, you've also left...
I'll send you a photo. You can upload it.
You've left chocks behind from the chipper?
Chocks, yeah, I've lost chocks.
Another rite of passage. And what was the last thing you did today?
The chipper wanted to eat my rake as I was trying to shove the last bits of debris through it.
And you've also worked on the itchy bomb tree.
Oh,
So
you did.
I think you've passed your certificate 3.
Thank you very much.